progress on this field of decency and normalcy. It's not just President Trump that has been eroding norms of decency and
he's had a lot of help.
He's had a lot of help from a lot of people on Capitol Hill, and we'll see whether or not they want to come back to planet Earth and be good boys and girls and be decent and normal and adhere to facts and truth. I would say, as a journalist trying to uphold, along with everyone here, those norms, come on in, the water's fine, but we'll see what they're ready to do. Anderson?
And Jake, work of the transition has already begun, obviously, for the Biden campaign. David Axelrod, I mean, they have been preparing for this, for multiple different possibilities.
Yeah, and look, you know, the thing is that what he does from here on in these next days and weeks are important substantively, but they're also important symbolically. Who he calls, you know, where he goes, the issues that he highlights, the words that he uses are all going to be examined closely, and I guarantee you that a lot of thought has been given to how to orchestrate these next few days to send a strong signal about how he intends to govern. So making those calls to Mitch McConnell, making those calls to which foreign leaders are you calling? What is the nature of those conversations? Where are the first places you choose to go? What are your first appointments? I expect you'll see very quickly first his White House staff. Probably it'll be a few weeks if he follows the pattern, certainly of the administration we were part of. It'll be the end of November before we'll hear about cabinet members. But all of them are not just substantively important, but symbolically important, and a lot of thought has gone into it, I'm sure.
Just to follow up on the foreign leaders, I was told during the campaign, I asked a senior advisor, who is Joe Biden talking to? Which foreign leaders is he talking to? He said, we're not talking to any. They're calling us during the campaign, but we are not. We have told them we are not going to speak with them until he's elected. Because they felt, given what had gone on with the Trump campaign, Flynn, General Flynn, etc., that they could not do that. Now, he will clearly be reaching out to these leaders he was not able to speak with during the election.
The path ahead, though, I mean, it's not just, you know, Jake was talking about Republicans on Capitol Hill. It's also Democrats and the liberal wing of the party, and you know, people, you talked about sort of sending signals.
Yeah.
The cabinet choices.
Yes.
That's going to be a battle.
I listened with interest to Abby talking about Kamala Harris as sort of an ambassador to the younger voters, to the left, and so on. That's going to be an enormous pressure because we have a situation where we'll likely have a divided Congress. You're going to have to make compromises. Biden himself is more moderate than some Democrats would like, and so there's going to be a lot of tension that they have to navigate there. But the bigger one is in the country itself. I think I think Joe Biden believes it with every fiber in his body. The words that he is speaking now, I believe in those words, but it does require, you know, Rick talked earlier about, well, there are a lot of Republicans who don't necessarily believe that he has won yet, or they question whether he's won yet. We've gone through presidency after presidency where half the country views the president as illegitimate. That is corrosive, and we have to try and find a way through that.
And we just heard, Hillary Clinton has just tweeted, and she said voters have spoken, and they have chosen Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be our next president and vice president. It's a history-making ticket, a repudiation of Trump, and a new page for America. Thank you to everyone who helped make this happen. Onward together. Interesting tweet from Hillary Clinton, who finally gets to say Trump has been repudiated, from the woman who, of course, lost to Donald Trump. And she and Joe Biden, as you know, David, have not, Joe Biden didn't get in the race last time because Hillary Clinton was in the race, and he held back. And now she is congratulating him for winning this. And also, she did not become the first woman president, but now congratulating the first woman vice president.
Well, look, there's two things that are happening. One is, at the top, Biden is trying to figure out how to get the transition done. But to your point, is a big movement that expects to be treated with respect and inclusion. You're talking about the left. I'm talking about the left and the grassroots, not just the left, but the grassroots of this party, the people that you see out here. This was the Avengers versus Thanos. Okay, this was not just a mano kind of a situation. You had every grassroots organization standing up. And so groups like Mi Gente, Lucha, Mi Familia Vota, the Latino Victory Fund, Maria Teresa Kumar and her organization, that's the Latino grassroots. They expect to be having a seat at the table. Native American, by the way, you see the little blue dots in Arizona? Those are Native American reservations. The Native American community played a tremendous role. The Native Organizers Alliance, Intertribal Council, the NACARE, these are groups that expect to be treated with respect because they are responsible for the victory. And then also, the African American community threw down. And you have a new infrastructure in the black community. Colorofchange.org, which I helped to start a long time ago, has become a superpower. And also, by the way, defending this victory, Vanita Gupta from the Leadership Council of Civil Rights, Sherilyn Ifill from the NAACP Legal Defense Fund are defending this victory right now in court. So you have a massive movement around Biden that's going to want to be respected and seen and included. And not just left, but bottom up. And I think part of what has to happen is the bottom-up inclusion from the left does not have to come at the expense of bottom-up inclusion from working folks and Trump country. Those things can go side by side.
When it comes to cabinet selections, I mean, there had been talk about does Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren, do they want to be on the cabinet? That's something which, I mean, how much control do Senate Republicans, Mitch McConnell, have over that, you think?
Traditionally, all of that changed, candidly, in the last 4 years, but traditionally, the Senate gives the president the cabinet he wants. Okay. And unless there's people that are clearly unqualified or have ethical problems or other things. So I think Mitch McConnell and the Republicans will give the president the cabinet he wants. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue. Can I just make one point? Because everybody's talking about unity, and I think Americans clearly would love to see this country a little bit more divided. But everyone seems to think that unity is accomplished by tone. That if you just are nicer and if you don't say nice things, you aren't mean to people, that somehow you're going to unify the country. That's not enough. I mean, I'm not saying that's not a good thing. It is a good thing, and you've heard me criticize the president for his tone. Tone is important, but I will tell you, in my opinion, what will be the biggest determiner as whether Joe Biden will be able to accomplish unity is the state of Georgia. Because the state of Georgia in the next 2 months is going to go through an election process that will determine who controls the United States Senate. And if 1 or 2 Republicans get elected from the state of Georgia, Joe Biden has a much greater chance of unity because he'll be forced to work together with Republicans to get things.
I agree with you on that.
If Georgia for some reason elects 2 Democratic senators, you will see the left, and Van has every right to say they were the ones that were the energy, they were the ones that deserve it, but they're going to be pushing for D.C. statehood, they're going to be pushing for packing the court, they're going to be pushing for Puerto Rican statehood. I mean, you're going to see a big tax increase, you're going to see things that will not unify the country that Joe Biden is going to have to push for if he has the means to do it. So, Georgia, you're on my mind. And so I'm hopeful that the state of Georgia will do the right thing and provide an opportunity for unity.
Can we just say something about the pictures we're looking at? I mean, it's kind of remarkable. These people have taken
it's interesting. I mean, obviously, look, in any election, there's going to be, people who are very happy, and there's going to be people who are not very happy. And so we're certainly seeing people who are very happy coming out into the streets of Washington, D.C. by the White House. The sense of relief that you sort of get from a lot of people who are coming out is particularly interesting as sort of, I guess it's a hope that of a change to this point soon, and obviously policy is
I think policy is going to be hugely important, but tone, I think, and Van talked about this so eloquently earlier, is the sort of sense of exhaustion and not having to wake up every day wondering what's going to happen because something's been tweeted that's so divisive, that somebody has been called a name. This president has been calling Joe Biden all kinds of names throughout this, and that was sort of something you got used to in a way.